It's time. It's time. It's bright. It's early.
Excuse me.
What?
Did you just say it's bright?
I'm bright. Sorry.
You're
I'm bright. It's early.
You're nuts.
What?
You're nuts.
Cashews.
Remind me again, why do we do this?
'Cause it's fun to get up before everybody else and talk about everything and discuss everything and create a record of everything. And did you notice that I didn't sing? Yeah.
I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't notice that.
I didn't sing yet.
Okay. Good job.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Although
what
I do have something in my head.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
I don't believe that. Not this time of the morning.
I do. At this time in the morning, when it's dark and cold, and everyone is sleeping. I do have. Reindeers are better than people.
Oh my god. No.
Sven, don't you know it's true?
I'm going to kill you, G.
Do.
I'm going to kill you. And I'm going to kill you again in about 5 hours after I've been saying the same thing again and again in my head.
Did my music wake you up when I was in the kitchen?
What?
Did my music wake you up?
Are you crazy? You woke me up when you came and scratched my ass.
I didn't scratch your ass. I lightly tapped your shoulder.
Oh.
Unless I mixed them up. What kind of way is that to wake someone up? Hey, wake up.
I don't know.
No one has ever been woken up by anyone ever scratching their ass.
Well, I thought it might have been nicer.
Right, well, I'll get an ass scratcher and scratch your ass with it. Because I'm sure there's something like that exists.
An ass scratcher.
Well, you can get a back scratcher.
You reckon it's a occupation?
It's probably a bit longer, but an occupation. If there's a job rubbing people's nipples with ice cubes.
What?
There's a job.
That's not a job.
I know it's not a job, but it is.
This is wrong.
What?
That's just wrong.
It's probably uncomfortable for somebody.
I think for both parties.
I don't know. The world's a strange place.
Listen.
Yes, what?
You just woke me up.
I know.
It's really early.
I know.
It's Saturday.
I know. What's your point?
What the hell is the point of this useless exercise? I could have been getting some good and healthy sleep right now.
Yeah, but you don't want to oversleep.
Oversleep?
Yeah, it's not
Oversleep.
Good. Oversleep, yeah.
This is the person who was lying in bed at like 11 o'clock last night,
But
right?
were you supposed to be at 11 o'clock? Tell me.
Well, you're supposed to be in bed.
Da da da.
But some people are working.
Yes. Yeah, I was where I was supposed to be. I was setting a good example for the kids.
Oh, it worked great, yes. None of them went to sleep when you went to sleep.
No?
None of them.
What did they do?
Well, they got in bed, and then they got out of bed, and then they ran around, and then they said, I'm hungry, and then they said, I need to pee, and then they said, I need to poo, and then they said, I need some water, and then they said, I need some milk.
Mm-hmm.
And then they swapped beds about 3 times, and by the time they were in bed, sleeping, it was around midnight. And I was pulling my hair out, because I wasn't getting any work done. And...
Oh, I'm sorry, but
just about that.
I did make sure that the girls cleaned their teeth. And I did lie down in the bed with the girls.
Yeah.
Right? And
and then you fell asleep.
Well, yeah, that's what people do. That's what people do when they lie down in bed. They fall asleep.
Uh-huh. It's a shame the kids didn't.
Yeah, well, I was kind of surprised when I woke up and there were no kids here.
Mm-hmm. They were playing musical beds last night.
So who's sleeping where?
I can't even fucking remember. Am I allowed to swear?
Yes. Yeah, of course you are.
Well, Jasmine went upstairs to sleep in Zora's bed, and Zora was sleeping here, and then, well, first Jasmine was sleeping here, right?
Well,
And then she went to sleep in Zora's bed, and then she went to sleep in her own bed, and Zora went to sleep in Zora's bed, eventually.
mm-hmm.
I can't remember why. But that was after she pooped.
Did Will go to sleep in his own bed?
Well, he was lying in bed last time I checked, but it was around midnight and he still wasn't asleep. And I said, well, you're gonna be dead tomorrow morning, man. And he said, I know, but I can't fall asleep.
I like it when Will reads to the girls
They're
before he falls
all
asleep.
going to be dead this morning, you realize that, right? It's gonna be hell getting them out of bed.
Well, it's hell getting them out of bed at any time.
Yeah, I know. I think we should move it back to 10 o'clock.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But it was 10 o'clock. I mean, it was...
Because I never get any work
I put a
done.
movie on at 8, or just after 8.
Yeah, I know,
And
but they didn't fall asleep because for the last week they've been falling asleep around midnight, so... I mean, obviously they need to...
Well, they like that sort of creative time.
Transition.
What? Hello?
What's the word?
Transition is not a word
What's
yet.
the verb? What's the verb from transition? Transition to transition.
Transit? No, that's not it.
They need to transition.
Transition. That's a noun.
Is it?
They need to...
Yes,
no,
I
it's,
know.
no, wait a
It is a
minute.
noun. Transition is a noun.
And a verb.
Is it?
Yeah, because they need to transition.
Ah,
Isn't that crazy?
I didn't
The
know
noun,
that.
the noun is the verb. And it's
Well,
got a noun spelling, but it's a verb.
I like my verb better.
What?
I like my verb better.
My verb.
My verb.
What's your verb?
Transition.
That just sounds like a weird gender type. what are you? I'm transish.
Not quite trans.
Like when the local council phone you and they're like, we have to ask you these questions.
That was funny. Yeah.
Were you were you born a woman or?
Or did you transition?
What a stupid, retarded, backwards, idiotic, fucked up question that is.
Oh. Do you have some negativity there?
No. It's actually.
Do you have some opinion that you'd like
it's
to express?
refracted and reflected positivity is what it is.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, look, if I feel like kind of metaphorically, if someone asks me a stupid question, I get to slap them in the face with a wet fish.
You know, I was in Tesco last night.
And people were doing that.
No. And I was walking around
Can
upstairs.
you imagine?
And I was looking at clothes, because that's what you do.
And they were all too big.
Tesco. And
No.
they had these Christmas socks.
Christmas
And they had-
sock, nobody can see it. Whoa.
And they had the what's his name? Grinch on them. And they had these Christmas socks with Grinch on them. I was like really angry.
The
And the
angry
sign,
Grinch socks.
yeah, and the sign there said, "This is my happy face." And I looked at it and I thought, that's something that would be great for G.
It didn't look like one of the grandparents, did it?
No, but it looked like you look like regularly when you're talking to your computer in a very light voice and you hit it with your index finger multiple times.
Like I'm pressing the mouse button.
In the enter button. When you go, I'm pressing the enter button. Kurwa do PG. Why is it not working?
Buggity, fuck.
Yep. The computer's not doing anything. I'm yebbing into it, and it's not doing anything. Yeah, I looked a bit like that.
I have to learn to clean out the computer properly because
I have to learn not to hit it.
I don't actually like hit my computer. I might rapidly tap on it in the whole.
Rapidly tap on it in a vigorous manner.
Yes. I vigorously, rapidly tap.
Maybe just rapidly tap your face in a vigorous manner.
There we go. Yes, it's what I do.
With a wet fish.
With a fish, absolutely.
You always bring me breakfast. Why do you always do that, G? I told you, like, every time you bring me breakfast that I don't want breakfast in the morning. Well, not this time of day.
Well, last time you were like, I don't want toast. So I brought you cereal this time.
Coffee.
And you've got coffee.
I always told you coffee is my breakfast. God.
Coffee.
Besides, I'm on the keto diet. I can't eat cereal.
You what?
Keto diet.
You're eating kitties.
Do you remember we're fasting tomorrow?
Yes, I did actually remember that yesterday. I was like, yeah, the fasting thing is coming.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that when I was out on my jog. I was like, yeah, fasting, and we have to tell the all-seeing, all-knowing gods of Babka and Jedka.
So they don't cook.
Well,
us.
First of all, they're going
for us.
First of all, they're going to absolutely, completely, totally not understand and be offended by it. At least one of them is,
No. I tell you what's going to happen. You're going to tell them we're fasting tomorrow.
And they're going to forget.
Going to have a very strange look in his face, on her face.
her.
And she's going to say, oh, okay, so what does it mean? And then you will tell her what it means.
What does it mean? It doesn't fucking mean anything. It just is.
So then you're going to tell her what it means that we're not eating tomorrow. And then tomorrow she's going to cook something and we're going to say, well, we told you we're not eating. And she's going to say, oh, I didn't realize that it meant that you're actually not eating.
I've never fasted before.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Yes, you have. You just didn't call it that.
Okay, so when did I fast?
It's like when you came from work and you said, I only had one apple in the morning and it's now 10:30 in the evening and I haven't eaten anything all day.
Is that fasting? That was starving, no? Like fasting is starving by choice, no?
Well, yes. Fasting is starving with positive attitude.
That's funny.
But the funny thing
fasting is great as long as it doesn't lead to slowing.
But the funny thing is that that positive attitude actually makes all the difference. Do you believe it?
Well, yeah, of course, attitude makes a difference.
It's really true. I mean, it can make so much difference that it affects your health, right? Because if you've like, the prolonged fasts that people do that you disapprove of.
Well, I think it's unhealthy to do something too extreme too quickly.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so the prolonged fast, like some people will just fast for like 20 days, yeah, and will completely clean out their organism, yeah, and they're happy and invigorated and energetic, and their health is super, and everybody's peachy and everything, right?
Bitchy or peachy?
Peachy. And after they've had their fast, they'll be like, yay, and they'll slowly go back to eating and yada yada yada. But if you take somebody who doesn't want to fast, then it's not elective starving. it's just starving. And it's going to have...
Because there's a difference, right?
Yes. Then it's going to have a detrimental effect on their health, right? So it's like after 20 days of not eating, they're going to be like
Dead.
Like that they won't have enough nutrients and they'll be all, you know.
Are toxins going to come out of my body if I fast for 24 hours?
Um, Actually, honestly, I don't know if it's long enough for that.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
You
That
know.
if you do it for like 3 days, then it all the shit
But if
starts
you
to
do it
come out.
repeatedly, when you do it, I know that when you do it repeatedly, it has positive effects. So it must have
what are
some
the
positive effects. At least.
so what are the positive effects if
The
you do it
positive
only
effect if you do
like
it
one
short
day?
like that, like one day, the positive effect, number one, you're giving your digestive system a break,
That makes sense.
which is always a good thing
That makes sense.
because it does cleanse a little bit during that 24 hours. You know, it's
Yeah.
just the fact that you empty it without filling it up again for a little while is a good thing.
Yeah, the digestive system is, it's sort of overworked, right? In a lot of
Yes,
cases.
especially these days, like when people are not hungry at all, right? Because you're not hungry at all. But as soon as you're hungry, you can just go, oh, look, I'm hungry. I'm going down to the kitchen and I'll have something. And you have something.
You know what I like about the idea of fasting? It's not any of those elements. It's the deferral of. I always mix the words up.
Yes, gratification.
Yeah, I wanted to say gratitude
Yes.
again. Deferral of gratification.
Yes, that's
I
another
I
positive
think
effect, yes.
I think the idea
Willpower.
of being hungry, having food available, but saying no, I'm not going to,
Hmm.
is very powerful.
And also, not only that, but also it makes you re-evaluate your relationship to food.
What? Food counselling. I bet you there's a lot of people who need that.
Hmm. Your relationship to food. It makes you reevaluate. It's like when I told you last time that the only thing that I had a problem with, well, not the only thing, but the main thing that I had the problem with last time I was fasting was automatic eating. I haven't realized before how much I automatically ate.
Oh no, I get it. Absolutely. But what's the deal with the fasting? Right? Is it like liquids and no foods, or is it just water, or what? What are the
Well,
rules?
some people just have water. Well, it depends what you want to do. Some people just have water. Some people find that it's easier for them to fast when they have like a cup of coffee in the morning at least. But obviously, you can't have any calories in it, so they'll just have black coffee, right? Black
Okay,
coffee doesn't
and
have calories.
what happens the next day? Because I've got like shit to do on Monday, and I don't
Poop?
want
You
to.
mean poop?
No,
Nothing.
no,
Nothing.
no, I don't
When
mean
you
that.
24 hours, when you're only fasting for 24 hours, you don't have to like ease back into eating or something like, because
Yeah, because I've
you're fine. You can just do whatever you've done before.
got a meeting with a potential new client on Monday morning, and I don't want to go into that meeting with half the energy that I usually have, or something
No,
like that.
you just do what you've done before. It's fine.
You just do what you did before after doing what you've never done before. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's always better to eat lighter after a fast, but one day fast doesn't go. It's not going to affect you really in any way.
I like this idea. It really appeals to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. See what you say tomorrow.
Oh no, I don't know that. I'm not saying it like in the sense that I think it's going to be easy or something.
Uh-huh.
I like it because of the whole challenge aspect to it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And it's not something that, or I don't think that it's something that I would do myself
Mm-hmm.
alone. Like I wouldn't say to myself alone, okay, I'm not gonna eat for a day today, because I actually don't think that I'd be able to do that. Not that I would overeat in any sense, just that I just, it doesn't fit into my mentality, it doesn't fit into my way of thinking.
You know what's gonna happen? Are you gonna have coffee or not? Because if you're not going to have coffee, you're going to get a headache in the afternoon.
Oh, so is that what happens? You get a headache because you haven't filled your body with weird chemicals.
That's what happens to me.
If you don't drink coffee. So you like to drink coffee during the day?
You're allowed to drink coffee as long as it's without milk.
Okay.
If you want to do that. I'm not.
So you can drink coffee and tea and water and...
Yeah, and that's it.
And that's it?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound that bad.
No,
I mean, I'm not saying it's easy, but I mean...
No, it's alright. It's alright. I told you last time I had a...
And then it starts when you wake up, obviously. And
well, actually, it starts when you go to sleep, doesn't it? Because you're asleep for 8 hours.
But that's not it's not very conscious, you know.
No, it's not.
Except for you, who apparently goes downstairs in the middle of the night and takes food from the fridge.
Which I've never done.
But everyone thinks you have.
I have done it, but not. It's not like...
You did it once, and now everybody thinks it's permanent.
No. Actually, no. I have never got out of bed to go and get food. Ever. Not even once. I've never got out of bed in the middle of the night to get food.
You mean to get food to then go back into bed?
Yeah. I have gone downstairs in the middle of the night to get food if I was working late and if I was still awake at like midnight. And I was thinking, right, I have another 2 hours to do, so I better go and have something to eat. Right.
How does fasting affect my exercise routine? Right? Because should I
if it's just 24 hours, you're fine.
Like, should I not exercise because I'm fasting?
You can exercise if you want. If it's just one day, seriously, it's not going to affect you.
Yeah. So I can still do. Well, obviously I wouldn't overdo it, right? But I'd still want to do something.
Yeah. When I was fasting for longer periods of time before, because I did 5 days and I did 3 days, and well, the 5 days was the longest. But I found that it's easy to exercise the first day. It's okay. Not as easy, but okay, to exercise on the second day of a fast. But third, fourth, fifth, and so on is just not... I can't. Some people do. I can't.
You can't do what?
Exercise.
Oh, okay, exercise during that period of time, yeah.
Because by day 3, I was...
Well, your body is... What's happening is your body is worried.
Yeah.
Your body is worried that things are not normal, therefore it doesn't know when things are going to return to normal, therefore you should take care. So your brain is sort of sending yourself signals saying, be careful.
Preserve your energy.
Yeah, absolutely, because you don't know when you're going to need it.
Yeah. But that's the funny thing, that some people have absolutely no problem, you know. Some people just keep on bicycling to work and everything. I was happy. I was happy that...
Can you imagine bicycling to work here?
No.
You'd end up further away from the office than you did at the start of your journey.
Because the wind would blow you away.
If it didn't blow you over, which is enough reason not to do anything. I can't tell if that's the sun rising or if that's a light out there. I think it's a distant light.
I can see the Venus from here.
Can you see Venus? It's a star up in the sky.
It's a planet, by the
so
way.
high. It's a planet. It's not a star. Planets revolve around stars. Is that correct?
Correct.
Oh, look at that. I know something.
Did you just like
realize
that?
No, I verified it.
Okay.
like a Facebook or Twitter account.
I learned how to do the division yesterday.
Do the derivation.
Not derivation.
Do the
division. Division. The division of big numbers on the paper.
What, cutting them into parts?
Almost.
What, like 100 divided by 10?
Well, obviously that's a primitive one, but like 2,300 for 47,526 divided by 3. Like
Yeah.
that type of division. Yeah.
Divided by 3.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's easy, isn't it?
Is it? How much is it then?
Isn't that long division?
You know, that's funny because I found that that's called a short division. Long division is when you take that big number and divide it by multi-digit number. So you divide it by 105. That's called long division, apparently, according to the book.
Uh-huh. So there's short division and long division.
Uh-huh.
You know what I do? I just ask Google now.
Oh,
Because
yes.
it's...
Don't tell Will, because
I know,
he needs to know how to do that.
I know. That was he was doing the maths the other day, and I was thinking in the back of my mind, you could just ask Google to do it for you, and I was thinking, no, that's not what we want.
I posted that meme the other day. I said, I found that among the like home education memes, and it was all those parents and teachers telling us that we won't have a calculator with us all the time to use it.
That's really fucking funny.
Well, we showed them.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's like, you won't always have a calculator. No, we'll have the entire knowledge of the universe in our pocket, but we'll still need to do these long division
Yeah. Just shows you how stupid school is, right?
sums. Oh my god.
It shows you how it just shows you how school prepares you for the past rather than the future, right?
Oh, what an amazing statement. School prepares you for the past.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh my
I'm going to
God.
have to remember that one.
Well, don't forget to quote me, eh?
Well, to quote you.
Don't forget to fucking quote
Is
me.
that an original
'Cause-
quote? Did
yes.
you make that one up?
Yeah, I just did.
Oh, that's excellent.
Because
Well
you're
done.
just going to put it on your little photograph of I don't know, Zora wiping her bum and you know.
What? What?
Well, you always take photographs of kids and then put your quotes on top of them.
Okay, first of all, that's not true. Second of all, I do take lots of pictures of the kids. Third of all, I do sometimes add a title to them or something, but I don't put lots of quotes on them. I've maybe done about 10 in the last year, like that.
Well,
Right, but I do have other pictures where I put quotes on, and I do take quotes out of my book, and I do a bit of promo like that with things.
yeah, anyway, don't forget to quote me when you quote me.
Okay, I won't.
Credits. That
So-
planet there is really bright.
Oh,
You couldn't
you want me to
open the
magically
shutters?
open the shutters over
Yes. Could you please use your telekinesis and just open
there?
it?
I am focusing my...
Because the star is like
mental
peeking out every time I move my head, and it disturbs me. I want to see it
It
fully.
disturbs you. You know what disturbs me? That noise in the background.
Well, Bobka's television.
Well,
But-
it's fine.
but the same
It's
noise
not
that
even.
the
It's
thing is-
6:30 in the morning, and
Listen,
she's terrorizing
I
Jedko already.
told you that I went to sleep last night around midnight, right? The
Yes.
telly was still blaring at that time.
She was obviously out for the count. She was obviously completely out for the count. Oh, you're going over to do it by yourself? Oh, okay. Oh, that's so much better. Now you've opened the curtains, I can see the absolute blackness of the outer world there.
Yeah.
It does.
But I can see Venus.
I don't know if I'm seeing kind of an illusion of dark blue and not black, or I can't really tell.
No, it's black. It's
No,
totally
it's black. It's
So
an
it's
illusion.
just-
Okay,
it's just
it's
black.
just black.
It's
Okay.
black with one massive planet.
Yeah, where's the planet?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that!
That's shiny.
Oh my god, it's like a diamond in the sky.
It's like a fucking reflector.
It's like someone's left a light on up there.
Yes, it is actually, yeah. Motherfuckers, don't they know? We need to preserve electricity.
I wish I had better vision, because it seems to glow and kind of sparkle, and I'm sure that it doesn't actually do that.
Yeah, it looks like a line, doesn't it? Oh, that's just the window, I think.
Yeah, so is that just
Because you
the
see
light
through the window. It's also because you can't see a shh. And it kind of blurs out.
You can't see a what?
Shh.
You can't see a shoe. What What's a sh? What the fuck's a sh?
It's a swear word. Not pronounced.
Okay. I was confused by the article and placed before it.
A sh.
Oh, what is she doing with
I don't know.
with turning up the volume on her TV and
Waiting.
watching it loud at like 6:30 in the morning when she knows that
Everybody's sleeping.
that everyone is sleeping and Jedko needs his sleep, right? Obviously.
But is she watching that in her bedroom or is she watching it downstairs? I can't tell. If
That's
it's
coming from the bedroom, I think.
Are you sure? Because it could well be.
Wait a minute,
coming
where's the
from
kitchen?
downstairs.
The kitchen would be diagonally downstairs. So it would be like this, there would be the kitchen.
Mm.
So it's theoretically possible.
It could be coming from the kitchen
that
if
it
she's
could be
got it
coming
on
from the
loud.
kitchen.
Of course she's got it on loud because she can't hear. So she actually thinks that she's got it
Do you know
on quiet.
what's ridiculous
She can't hear.
amongst everything else? Ridiculous amongst everything else is a deaf person telling you, I can't hear you, I'm deaf.
Mhm.
And then expecting you to respond to that. Because like she was on the phone the other day and she's like, who is it? Blah, 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 blah. No, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Who is it? Blah, 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 blah. No, I'm sorry, I'm deaf. The person at the other end is like, well, I don't know what to do then, do I? Because you're deaf, right?
And you're on the phone.
Yeah, so it's like, why the fuck did you pick up the phone in the first place then? Just to tell me you're deaf? I mean, what kind of torture is that?
Yeah.
And then how is the person at the other end supposed to respond? They just like talk louder, or and then it's funny because inevitably she turns around and says, "I'm not deaf," you know, or I'm not. She qualifies it. I'm not completely deaf, you know. It's okay. It's like when someone does something completely insane and they're like, "Oh, not completely insane," you know. It's like, well, you know, just looking at what you're doing, it might be.
Yeah, it has to be difficult.
Well, yeah, because in her frame of mind, she's going to think that everybody's talking about her anyway, or everybody's talking about what she's talking about or what she wants to talk about, and she does exactly the same thing that Will does in conversation, if you've noticed, which is jump straight in with what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, okay, we're all guilty of that from time to time, but, you know, it sort of gets to an extreme point there, where she'll walk into the middle of somebody else's conversation and just steamroll over everything with what she wants everyone to do at whatever specific time. In the last 48 hours, she's been odd. You know, it's a bit like, what's it like? It's kind of like the Roadrunner thing, where like,
Me, babe.
where, but no, the Roadrunner's a bad example because it's kind of the other way around. Because like she's the Roadrunner. It's like Jedko's the coyote, right? And Babka's the Roadrunner, but the Roadrunner is chasing the coyote, not the coyote is chasing the Roadrunner. So it's kind of a weird kind of role reversal thing there, if you can imagine that bizarre situation.
You know,
So the coyote's like, whatever, and you know, she's like a Roadrunner with a stick of TNT up her wahoozy. From the moment she wakes up, she's Mimi. Mimi.
You know, my father. I remember that my father always used to say, like, about my mother. You know, he always used to say, "Oh, she's a teacher," in that way, right? In that kind of way that's supposed to tell you, like,
beware.
she's damaged in some kind of way. And I always
you're
thought
damaged,
that,
right?
and I always thought that was just fun, right? It's like, he's just saying that because for whatever reason you know,
Mm.
for whatever opinion he has on teachers or whatever. You know, I was like, he's just making fun.
Mhm.
But I started to put two and two together, and I think that it can actually psychologically really affect you when you're a teacher, because if you think about it, you spend most of your day among kids,
Mhm.
right? And if you are not an enlightened teacher who realizes that kids are his equals, right?
Mhm.
If you're all an old school teacher who thinks that kids are below the teacher and that the teacher is there to um what's the word, to move them basically, right,
Mhm.
to manipulate them into various positions to all day, then it has to have a psychological effect on you. It has to affect the way you act with other people, especially if you've done that for 30 years. If you spend 30 years moving people around, I'm saying moving, but don't mean physically moving. I mean, you know what I mean.
Well, I
Telling people what to do and considering them to be lower than yourself. Because that's what lots of adults do with kids, right? They consider them to be lower than themselves. They consider them being irresponsible. They consider them not knowing what they're doing. They just underestimate them basically, like constantly, right? If you think about that you spent majority of your life around people that you think lesser of, it has to have an effect on your relationship with everybody, no?
oh, absolutely. Not only that, you get trapped in negative routines, which is the pathology of education in the sense that you get up every day at the same time. You travel in the same way to the same destination. You have the same experience. You go to the same room, teaching the same or similar groups of young people from the same books, the same topics that you did previously,
Mm.
and very little ever changes. I mean, the, my one, one of my many pet hates in life is is the idea that I'm going to get up today and have the same day as yesterday.
Mhm.
That's just killer for me. My whole reason that I do is the things that I do is in order to have a variety of
I never
experiences.
ever thought about it that way.
And well, imagine you're doing that for even 1 year, right? And you get
I never thought about, I'm gonna have the same day as I had yesterday, or it never even crossed my mind that this day could be the same as yesterday, and that's a bad thing. It's just never ever. It's like a
yeah
new
yeah
concept.
well, it's the pathology of ritual, which is that traditions are nice. Don't get me wrong. In traditions, are part of culture,
I
but
think
ritual.
this is more a
rit-
routine than a tradition.
Well, if you look at how religions work, religions function on the idea of ritual.
Hmm.
Not entirely, but let's just look at how they act, not how they think. Yeah.
It's a part of it, but it's a part of it that was supposed to help it integrate.
Yeah. Well, it in certain places it's fine. Look, take being an athlete, right? Your aim is to entirely refine everything you do through repetition to make it entirely perfect. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now that's okay, but you try to apply that to education, and that doesn't work because the athlete's doing it to their own body by choice.
Mm-hmm.
And education is the same thing by force.
Mm.
And the
Well,
whole
school is no education.
oh yeah, of course, sorry. Yeah, there's a difference there.
Mhm.
And the this the idea of falling into routine is something that I I make it my personal mission every day to break the routine as much as possible because
No, actually, but you do have a routine.
No, I know I
that,
do.
That runs you, right?
I know I do.
mean, you have
Yes.
you have a routine without which you wouldn't be able to perform as well as
Yes.
you perform.
Yes,
And get up every day at
Yep.
5, and you didn't go downstairs, have your muesli and your coffee, and browse your phone and whatever else you do in the morning, right?
Yeah, I don't browse my phone. I do specific activities. I either watch a specific video to get a specific piece of information and make notes on it,
Mhm.
or B, I create a specific piece of content for
Yeah.
social media. So I don't browse my phone. Yeah.
Well, obviously,
Um,
I don't know what you do with your phone, but you sit with your phone. Anyway,
Well, I do. I just told you what I do.
Yes.
She said, "I don't know what I do." I just told you. What
yes,
I do.
you just told me what you do.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yeah, no, but the point I want to make is that that I know that my life is greatly fueled by the routines. I know that. But I also know that I'm not going to have any progress in my life if I don't break up those routines. I know that if those routines remain the same, that everything else is going to remain the same.
it's really funny because you're trying to break up your routines. I'm trying to find one.
Well, no, you see, that might be that might be that might even be counterproductive because to constantly search for something can be very productive and useful and helpful. But at the same time, the search could be your routine, right?
Yes, that's what I was just wanting to say, that it's actually the same, only I'm trying to break a different routine. I'm trying
Yeah.
to break the routine of not getting up early and and of not getting enough work done.
Yeah. Well, look, I think a lot of the time that still switching back to the fact that there's all that background noise going on. That I think that what's up?
Fucker is moving.
What the
The
star?
fucker is moving out of the view. He's going to hide behind the shutter again.
There is a bit of light appearing over there. Anyway, and yeah, I often feel that people getting up in the morning and turning on the TV or radio is loneliness. But I mean, that's a whole entirely different subject. I think it's psychological loneliness when people get up and turn on the television to get their news from someone they don't know in a place that they don't know, reading something that somebody that they don't know wrote about something about a place they've probably never been to or something they've never seen, and so.
But isn't that how
It's
you
just-
learn? To a
no,
large
that's
degree.
not how you learn. You learn from source material.
Yes,
That's how you learn.
Yes.
And that's not source material. The news is not source material.
it is to a certain degree to certain people. That's how they
No,
learn
the
certain
way I
things.
described it defines it as non-source material. It's you're not talking to people who are in places, and the last time there was a big storm in the U.S., there were all these news reports on TV about how bad the storm was, and then there were all these other people walking around with their cameras and their phones filming the people filming, yeah,
Mhm.
and showing that they were just making up how bad it was, right?
Really?
Right, yeah, because they were like these people standing like in the wind with a microphone going, "Oh, the wind it's force, whatever, gale, the wind is blowing." And there's a couple of teenagers just kind of walking around in the background with their mobile phones going, "It's not that bad, guys." Filming it and then posting it on social media. So
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
and the other one was, people were up to their waist in water going on about the flooding, and there were a couple of kids, at the side who'd got their mobile phones out, and they were like, these reporters had gone to stand in the river, yeah, and everywhere around was dry, but they were standing in the river making the report about the flooding, and
funny.
it's epically ridiculous because these are adults. Right?
Yeah.
These are adults who are making their money just lying to people, and they're obviously very happy and satisfied with that.
That's why
Because-
people need. That's why people need teenagers.
I mean, and the teenagers the teenagers don't give up. give a screw job, right? So they'll tell the truth, whatever, right? Because they've got nothing to lose because they haven't been given anything anyway, or they haven't got anything anyway. So they've got nothing to lose in that situation. It's like when students rebel against the teachers. It's like you might as well because you've got nothing anyway. So what are they going to take away from you? It's like we're going to take away your education. We're going to give you detention. It's like thank fuck I got out of that class.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Right, it's sort of insane, but the school is in essence, and it shouldn't be, and good schools are not, but very much it's in essence prison mentality.
That has always boggled my mind, actually. That has always boggled my mind. How do teachers keep the sheep? How do teachers keep the kids in place? Right? Because if you think about it, right? You think about it, yeah. You've got those good kids, right? I'm using imagine the like, what do you call them?
Hello? What? Oh, quotation marks.
Quotation marks.
Yes.
Around the good kids. You've got the so-called good kids.
I was a good kid.
Who will do as they're told, yeah. And then you've got so-called rebels that will question the authority and make jokes and do things that make you cringe, like, oh my gosh, how can they say that to the teacher? And then you feel kind of bad for them. It's like, oh my gosh, that's detention for them again, right? and you keep thinking, why the fuck does he do that? Why can't he just fucking shit down and shut up and just get on with it, you know?
Shut down and shut up.
And just save himself a lot of problems. It's like why do these people search for problems? And well, at least that's what I was always thinking when people did that. And at school. And then I was thinking, later on, when I wasn't a kid, when you get out of it, you're thinking, there's nothing. There's absolutely no tools that these teachers have to make sure that the kids do what the teachers want them to do. They have nothing, right? They have marks. They can say, okay, well, I give you a bad mark. That's all they have, yeah. But other than that, they have nothing. It's like these kids have to be caged before they even go to school, yeah, in their minds, to listen to authority.
Well, how does it work? Well, the first principle of how it works is that the sheep police the sheep, right? So it doesn't work in the sense of the fact that the teacher has great power over the students. It's the fact that the teacher empowers the students to control the students. That's essentially how it works, and it's actually a basic principle of magic that is applied within the school environment. Because what's the collective noun for a group of teachers or workers in an office?
A crew?
No, that would be on a ship, but it's a very interesting use of terminology as well. Where do teachers go on their breaks?
I don't know.
There's a certain room that they go to on their breaks.
Well, I don't know what it is in English.
Okay,
I know it's
called it's called a staff room.
Okay.
A staff room. And so the collective name for a group of teachers is staff.
As it is in many other companies. Okay.
Yes, yeah. No, what was it? What was a staff originally?
That's really a collective word for employees.
What was the step back? What was a staff originally?
I don't know.
Okay, go back to shepherding. Shepherds walk around with this stick, right? Stick was a staff. That's what it was called. Long walking stick. Now, who else carried a staff? A wizard, yeah, or person in power. You see the queen walking around with her stick at special ceremonies. You see the Pope carrying that stick. It's a staff. It's a rod of power, yeah. And so the staff is the magical instrument through which you control people around about you. And it's not by chance or by accident that staff is used to describe teachers, because they are the specific instruments of control for the young people and the minds of society.
Yeah, but staff is used to describe any other employees. Really, staff is used to describe people in restaurant. Staff
the
is
people keeping order for the higher authorities. Absolutely, they're
It
performing
is.
the tasks. Yeah, it's a
not just teachers.
yeah, but it's a mindset, right? And what it is people frame themselves in a certain mindset, and they tend to think, okay, it doesn't really matter. I'm
I'm a
butcher,
stick.
builder, candlestick maker, whatever the fuck I am, right? And it doesn't. It doesn't really matter what the job is, but people tend to define themselves within those roles, and the teachers are influencing this power, or using this power to influence how the children think, how the children move, how the children interact, how they process their day, and it's all based on the principles of habit, which are in essence controlled by your habitat. The whole essence of school is an environment of control where you have very specific rules about how you're allowed to talk, where you're allowed to go, when you're allowed to move, and this is the whole pathology.
It's just so reversed, though. I mean, it's so reversed. It's completely reversed because on one hand, school makes you think that if you can abide by the rules and if you can work within the system and get good within the system, that's what makes you successful, right? The school makes you think that, okay, well, if I'm a good girl and if I've got a good marks and if I can like sneak my way through all the obstacles in school and all the rules, and if I can keep that all in line, then that's what makes me successful. And it makes you think or feel that all those people who don't do that, right, who challenge the authority, who keep getting in trouble, who do the opposite as they're told, yada yada, are the losers, right? The school tells you, okay, these are the kids that are either stupid or they've got behavioral problems, they're going to get into trouble because they can't abide by the rules, they will get into prison, whatever, blah blah blah, right? And it's completely completely reversed, right? Because those kids are not damaged in any way. They're just braver. They just haven't been indoctrinated, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're fearless. They're not afraid of authority. They're not afraid to speak up. They're not afraid to lead. They're not afraid to put themselves out there and to face the consequences, whatever they're going to be, right? I'm not saying that's the case with every single kid that's being naughty at school, but lots of times that's the case. It's not that they're stupid or that they're antisocial. It's just that they're not scared of the system. They don't want to fit into the place where the system is trying to put them into, right? That they refuse to fit into this, okay, I'm lower than you kind of human, hierarchy in school. And it's a positive thing, but they teach you for 8 bloody years or 15 or God knows how long you're in education, and that's a bad thing, right? And then you get out of school and you get all these so-called naughty kids suddenly doing great in life, right? Because they haven't been fucking squared and shaped and ground into their place. And all these nice little, clever kids who know how to fit into their little slot. That's where they end up. They just end up somewhere in a slot, somewhere in a company where they can listen to the rules and do as they're told. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, or you have the sort of kind of cork scenario, whereas the kids are like corks in water, and the teachers are trying to hold them down, and eventually once you let go of them, they bounce back up, and they're either extremely successful or extremely fucked up because the experience is so extreme for them.
Mm.
And you know what you said about the fearlessness is really important, because fearlessness leads to leadership. And you're not going to have leaders in society if you have children who are constantly frightened to do things, or to go down their own road, their own path, their own way. I'm always talking about that with the little meditation rants, that it's the path, it's the road, it's the choices that people take, and the kids are not given any real choices, because the bus is sent to pick them up, and they get on the bus in one place and they get off in another, and the gate is kind of closed behind them, and it's in the extreme circumstances you end up with schools that have prison guards, or prison guards are what guards, just like prisons, right? And they have these officers that are guarding the doors. And
Funny story.
Funny story.
I had a geography teacher who went off to work as a prison guard after.
Well, of course,
he
because
just left the job because he wasn't paid enough.
Yeah, well, it's the same job, isn't it? Really, it's just. I mean, you're just dealing with probably you probably get more learning in a prison than you do in a school, because you have that contemplation time.
That real life experience.
Yeah, you have that real life experience of like not getting raped in the shower or whatever. So it's or beaten up, as was in some documentary that Dad was watching the other day about prisons in Bulgaria or something like that.
I was going to say something important and I forgot what it was.
I wanted to repeat what you said earlier and point out the fact that I had that quote that was stuck to the fridge in our last flat, the Ivan Illich quote. It's school is the organization that makes people believe that society has to be the way it is. That's a paraphrase.
Yeah, the people are so indoctrinated. Even the society is so indoctrinated that it's not the kids that are scared; it's the adults that are scared.
Oh my God!
The adults are forcing kids to abide by the rules because the adults are scared. And I could see that with my mom, for example. It's when I spent a month and a half there, and she was doing her teacher thing. She had an extreme problem with just witnessing my kids running wild, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she saw that my kids didn't listen to me, for example, in some situations, yeah? And I told them, okay, well, let's all go and do this, yeah? Then my kids are like, sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't, and we talk about things, and we ask questions, and my mom is old school, and my mom kept telling me, you don't ask them questions, you don't give them choice, you're supposed to tell them what to do, and they're supposed to obey you, and blah blah blah. And she believes that kids have to be scared of you so that they can obey you, right?
Obey your leader.
Because they have to obey you, because if the kids, she's the old school person who believes that if the kids don't obey their mother and father and don't do as they're told, then they're going to end up criminals. And it actually came up during a conversation after an incident where Jasmine threw a glass on the floor. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She woke up after her afternoon nap. She was extremely, moody, angry, cry, whatever. And then she sat at the table. We were having dinner. Mm-hmm. And she said something, and I don't know, my mom felt that she wants a drink, right? Mm-hmm. So she moved the glass closer to Jazz, and she said, well, here you can have something to drink. And Jasmine was angry, so she kind of hit the glass, and she knocked it off the table, and the glass flew and hit the floor, and the water spilled, or milk or whatever was in it, I don't remember. And my mom, being my mom, shouted. Yeah, she was like, oh, what are you doing, or whatever, something like that. Yeah. And of course Jasmine started screaming because my mother raised her voice, and blah 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 blah, and my mom was just, I calmed Jasmine down, and I put her down somewhere in the bedroom to play with something. I can't remember what it was, but after everything calmed down, my mum would be like, "Oh my God, how can she shouldn't do that," and blah, and she had a problem with me not reacting appropriately. Or what she thought would be appropriate, I don't know, maybe to punish her or something. And I'm like, "Mom, well, she was tired." And as we were talking about things, the fears just came up to the surface. Yeah. And it was just what they would say afterwards, like, well, see what happens when she does that when she's 14 and he throws that glass at you rather than on the floor,
Yeah, and why would anybody do that?
And
right?
it's these fears that people have been taught, because they have been taught as children that they have to obey or whatever, otherwise they will become criminals or something. And they just can't get out of that. They don't understand that children can be trusted, or that children are not going to throw glasses at you when they're 14 if they have empathy, right, and emotional self-control.
Well, here's another thing, right? And I agree with everything that you said, which is really unusual. But so we were in the school last week, and I got to meet my old PE teacher, and she was saying, "Oh, you were a model student when you were at school." And I said, "You always studied and worked hard, and you did all your homework, and you were always well dressed, and all these things." And so I was the model student, right? I didn't know anything about anything, right? Right. So this is a model student, right? This is a model student, and it was like I was up at I wasn't the best of the best intellectually, but I was doing all the right things. Okay.
Yeah.
I was doing everything I was told to do, and I could have gone much further. I just didn't have any drive to do any of those things. And this is what makes a great student.
Yeah.
In that specific environment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't know anything about anything important at all.
Yeah. Well, you don't at that age. Yeah.
But you could know
I
if
don't
you were given
know,
an
could
opportunity. You could. I mean, look, people grew up faster in the past, which was both good and bad, right? And so people got their apprenticeship, say, at the age of 12 or 13, right? And they understood how the world worked.
They did get married at the age of 14, though.
Look, I said it was good and bad, okay?
Yeah.
I said it was good and bad. So, and let's not focus on the bad things, because that's just too easy to say, oh, everything's better now than it was. Some things are better, some things are worse. It's yin and yang, it's up and down, it's holistic principles, yada, yada, yada. But I really, to be honest, I was clueless about the world. I was clueless.
Yeah.
And I was also scared. I was scared that if I didn't do what they told me to do, that I was going to be perceived as a failure. Not that, and this is a crazy thing that we all know now as adults, that failure is part of success. Right? If you're not prepared to fail, you can't get anywhere. And I was scared to fail.
Oh, all the kids at school are scared to fail because they're punished for failing.
Yeah. And what does that mean? It means that I wasn't going to get anywhere because I wasn't prepared to put myself in a position where I could fail.
Yes. Kids at school are punished for learning.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
If you're punished for failing, you're punished for learning.
Yes.
So that's what's happening at school. Kids get punished for learning. They're not there to learn. They're there to get punished for it. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's a
and
crazy
you know,
system.
and the punishment for learning is forcing people to learn, which is like anything that's forced is kind of failure, and
it's
you're
crazy.
Not learn the right lessons.
They're not even forcing you to learn. They're forcing you to get it right. But that doesn't make any sense. I mean, how can you force somebody to get things right? It's not. It doesn't work. It can't ever work. You have to get it right by getting to the stage where you can get it right? But that's a journey, and you get punished for being on that journey at school.
Well, you get punished for being yourself, which is also horrible.
Well, that as well, of course.
I mean, imagine trying to punish a tree for growing in the wrong place.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's the way that nature works. It's got these random elements, and it is the way that it is.
And
right?
you get judged and labeled. That's another thing, right? You get judged and labeled.
You do, and you know, school's an extreme
whatever.
environment for that, because and the real world doesn't really function like that. Like the workplace has its pathologies, but you know, take the social environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say you go out with your friends and you go to a bar or a cafe or a club or whatever the hell you want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And say you go to the place and you don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And what I used to do with my friends is we used to plan to go out in the evening, and we'd go to a variety of different places.
Mm-hmm.
You start off in one place and you go somewhere else, and you'd meet different people, and you change the environments, and you'd have different experiences, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, if something was good, you'd stay for longer, and if something was bad, you would leave sooner, and
Mhm.
you'd make all these choices,
Mm-hmm.
Which are important social choices
Mm-hmm.
to make. You're making decisions based on your habitat, your environment, and a lot of random things happening around about you. The school has none of that.
You can't give children a choice. What are you talking about? They don't know what they're doing. They're
Well,
subhuman.
Well, if you give them a choice, they'll go in the opposite direction, and that's what people are scared about. Because if you turn around to the student and you say to the student, "Would you like to stand outside?" the student will be like, "Okay." Standing out
Exactly.
there's got to be
That's the thing. That's big. They're just schools are scared of kids. Kids.
It's
Yeah.
well, it's one of those grand designs that you have to marvel at. I mean, the way that school has been crafted, that's a very specific term, and because it's been crafted to produce a certain kind of thinking and mindset, and it's sad because you do find in that kind of environment great people producing great results.
Yeah.
But it's so hard for them. It's so hard because
To do it within the system.
Well, yeah, because you're always checking irrelevant boxes, right?
Mm.
You're always putting ticks here, and look, what could be copy and paste is not learning. Copy and paste is not learning. So, you know, getting everyone to write down the correct answer, the single universal correct answer, is not thinking. And I don't mean that you should debate over what is the capital of Bulgaria, right? I mean,
Obviously, there's right and wrong facts.
Yeah. Obviously, the fact is the fact, but you don't need to debate about that. But this idea that always come back to all the students reading the same book. And then the argument that, well, how do you discuss it if you don't read the same book? It's like, it's not important. It's not important to have the discussion about the same thing, because you can contrast the characters and situations by discussing the different things rather than the same things.
We did do different books. That's cool.
Well, we kind of didn't, because...
everyone would read a different... Everyone would get a book, and then I would make a presentation for everybody else about that book, which is a bit silly as well, because... Let's just go fucking read the book.
Did I tell you about
want,
my
right?
first book report?
No.
Okay, you know how I don't remember much?
Yes.
I remember this.
Okay.
Right, which is scary. That the teacher asked all of the students in primary, I don't know what primary year it was. I imagine I was in the middle of primary school, so I guess I was like 9 or 10 years old, right?
Okay.
To write about their favorite book.
Mm-hmm.
Write a review of your favorite book. Yeah, it's classic activity, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of silly because it's your favorite because it's your favorite, right? You don't want to analyze it too much.
Well, I don't really...
Especially
okay.
at that age. Anyway.
Also, it's like every single book was my favorite book at that age.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's another good point. So I can't remember what the book was, but I wrote the review, and it obviously wasn't very good. And the teacher stood in front of the whole class and said my name.
Uh-huh.
Then I was like kind of proud that I'd finished a piece of work. Maybe it wasn't good, but it was mine. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And she took it and she scrumpled it up into a ball and went over to the bin
Uh-huh.
dropped it in the bin,
Uh-huh.
said that should work. In front of the whole class.
That's lovely.
And this person was a respected member of the community. Wherever you are right now, this person, fuck you. I hope that you did not profit from that too much. And I'm not saying that I want bad things to happen to people, okay? I'm just saying that you don't deserve to be in that position in front of those students. And to demoralize them and destroy them in that kind of way. If that's your definition of intelligence, if that's your definition of an intelligence response to helping young people, then you know fuck all about what you're supposed to be doing.
We had a lot of that as kids at school. Yeah, you're right. You write down something in your notebook and they come and they rip a page out of your notebook and say, look at it, this is terrible writing. You have to copy it, make it look nice.
Yeah.
Right. It's my fucking notebook, right? It's my fucking notes. The fuck, right? What right do you have to damage my property, right? I mean, I would say that to them now, but when you're a kid, you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah,
You
and
just
then
do
what
it,
does
right?
that?
It's just mean. It's just
And
mean.
not only
that's what it is.
it's not only that in that situation is that the child then carries that into their other interactions as well. Like, oh well,
Yes, of course.
I'm not going to ask because if I'm wrong, I'll be punished for.
Oh
for being
yeah,
wrong.
oh yeah, oh ho, 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 ho. Hey, we had a psychopathic teacher. It's not the one that I always talk about. There was a psychopath. It's a different psychopath.
Another
this
one.
time. It was the alcoholic psychopath. So we had this alcoholic psychopath teacher, and at one point, I don't know, he went through some rough patch in his life, obviously, and he took it out on the students, and there was this pattern, right, where he would explain. It was physics, so it's all really difficult for me to understand. He would explain a concept in physics, and he would then ask, do you understand it? And you had a choice, yeah? You could say, yes, we do understand it, no matter whether you did or not. And then he would say, well, then we can have a test. And he'd give you a test, yeah?
Mhm.
Or you could say, I don't understand it. And he would say, well, ask me your question. What's your question? And you would ask a question, and he would say, okay, come here. So you would like come in front of the whole classroom.
Mhm.
And he would start asking you questions, yeah? But because you didn't understand it, he would consider it a failure. So you would get a bad grade, yeah? So he'd be like, oh, for Christ's sake, you don't know anything. Okay, sit down. 5. Well, we had the numbers from 1 to 5, in which 5 was the worst, right? So you'd get a bad grade either way, right? Because either you lied and said you understood it, in which case you got a test, or you said you didn't understand it, in which case he would like put you in front of the entire class, interrogate you, and then give you a bad grade.
Well, yeah, because you were actually encouraged to lie.
Yeah, and we were all failing that class. Half year, the first semester, end of first semester, was half the classroom was failing that class. And the teacher looked at the head teacher, and she said, what is happening here? And that's when we told her, okay, there's this problem with the teacher. And he obviously got scolded or something. And then he had to put it together, and then things sort of resolved themselves.
Mhm. Well, it's the crazy situations that like one of my former clients, they were unhappy with their daughter's teacher at school, and they talked to other parents, and none of the parents were happy with that teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So the parents had to organize a meeting
Mm-hmm.
to find a different teacher for their kids. The
Mhm.
parents, the
Mhm.
school didn't care.
But at least the
school
parents
didn't care
cared.
at all.
At least the parents cared. I cannot
Yes,
believe.
but the parents had to put pressure on the school to change the teacher. The school didn't even want to change the teacher. The teacher was a bad teacher.
Yeah.
Everybody was unhappy, but the school didn't want to do anything.
School doesn't have a motivation to do anything because they get paid whatever. The school gets paid. It doesn't matter whether the clients are happy or not.
Yeah, it comes back to my personal perspectives on things like job security is bullshit, right? If you're doing good, then you should get bonuses. If you're doing bad, you should not. If you're doing terrible, you should be fired.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
cannot still wrap my head around hard. I still cannot wrap my head around the fact that we had that teacher when I was a kid. Not the one that I talked about now.
Another psychopath.
The psychopath that I had from year 1 to year 4.
For 4 years.
I cannot believe that nobody ever did anything about it. Seriously, I'm like, she was a proper psycho, right? She was yelling at kids so loud that we were scared to death, right? We were seriously scared. We were scared to the point of pissing ourselves, right? As kids.
Did you ever have the experience at school where you were scared to go to the toilet?
Well, yes, but that's a different thing. We were scared to the point of pissing ourselves when she was yelling, right? And she would yell all the time. She humiliate kids. She would make fun, right? She would punish kids by the usual punishment by public humiliation. Punishment, not publishment.
But it is. But it is that
Publishment.
As well.
She did publishment all the time, right?
Public punishment.
we had this one kid who couldn't sing. Yeah, he just couldn't sing. He was completely tone deaf. Yeah, everybody when he had, and of course we had the music class like once a week, and she would deliberately make him sing, right? She could choose from all these 30 kids. Yeah, but she would deliberately choose him like half the times. I don't know what, she was obviously getting a kick out of the fact that kids were laughing at him, right? And that he was embarrassed. But it was just so wrong. Or when he did something wrong, she would say, okay, stand up and sing a song as a punishment, right? It was just cruel. She was terrible. I don't understand how she stayed in the job, right? I don't understand how no parents ever complained.
Well, it gets, it's like, it's terrible that we have to end up sharing horror stories about education. I mean, it's just so backwards.
Yeah, I know. But how did nobody ever complain about it?
One of my former clients who was a teacher, and she was an odd personality. Anyway,
I tell you what it was. I'm sorry. I just want to make a final point. I think it had to do with the fact that people transitioned from the socialist communist system into the capitalist system fairly recently, right? It was like a year or 2 years after that.
You're talking like Central Eastern Europe stuff.
Yeah. And I don't think people understood that schools are actually supposed to provide a service to a client. They were like, you know how in the socialism era everything was governed by the government, everything was owned by the government, and the government was the ultimate parent. Yeah. I don't think that people didn't realize back then that school is actually supposed to provide service to them as clients. I think they just thought that they have to do as they're told. I don't know, but nobody ever complained about that teacher. If they did, nothing ever happened. Crazy.
Yeah, it's all of the contradictions of being given an impossible situation, being asked to do an impossible job, and no one really wanting to stand up and admit that the whole thing is a giant impossibility.
And the bad thing is that even when you're a good teacher, yeah, and you want to do the right thing, yeah, you want to motivate the kids, and you want to, the kids are already so indoctrinated and disgusted by the entire system. They learn to loathe whatever education they're getting, right? so much that it must be really hard to, even when you are doing the right thing, to get through to them.
Well, it's the social pressure of stability, sustainability, and the nature that you can't do anything unexpected because people don't know how to deal with that or how to approach that. My way of dealing with that was starting my own school because I always felt that within other environments you just end up playing a role. You just end up being a character in another person's play, basically. And it's so difficult that I always felt like somebody else was the playwright and I was just like being a character in their world. And so by starting my own school, I was able to create my own world where I had more control over what was happening. And what am I trying to do in business right now? I'm trying to do the same thing. It's like I could join in somebody else's game, but I just end up being a player in their game. Whereas in the long term, if I set my own parameters and define my own rules, then if I'm able to play my own game, I'm able to go further because I'm not limited by the fear of walking around on eggshells, which is what so many people do in so many business environments, because they end up conforming to do whatever it is they feel that they have to do rather than just the right thing. And the ROI, the return on investment of doing the right thing is epic in the long term, because the go along to get along is good for 5 minutes, but then you have to switch. Inevitably, you have to switch, because you have to be your own person in order to move forward, and that is the nature of progress is disruption, which is what I was discussing in my council chamber meeting this week. Is that a lot of people are nervous, afraid, apprehensive, unsure about the disruptive nature of coaching, which is that you're not just from one side encouraging and supporting people, you're actually changing people's habits. And that's very disruptive to their life. And people are relatively comfortable with the habits that they have. They even are attached to their problems in a way that their problems define part of their personality. And to detach from that is to begin to change and transform their personality, which is to strike at the core of who a person is, and that's pretty frightening for most people to look at.
Yes, but those problems that create the part of the core of who you are usually not real. They're usually taught. Well, often, I'm not sure about usually, but often they are taught.
Do you mean
it's something that, I mean...
Do you mean in the sense of learned helplessness?
Yes, and in the sense in which things label you, in which people and institutions label you at some point in time, right? Like you can have somebody who tells you, "Oh, I'm extremely disorganized," right? That could be one of the obstacles that is a part of a person's personality, right? That they just view themselves as a disorganized person, but maybe they're not. Maybe they just think that they are because somebody told them that they were, right? Instead of telling them, look, this is how you can organize yourself, they just told them you are disorganized. And therefore sometimes the things that do form in time a part of the core of your personality are not even real.
That's so true. It's so true that there is so much of what we think we are experiencing as reality, which is something that has been taught to us.
I just imagine a guy with a red hat, right?
Well,
I just imagine a guy with a red hat, and he comes to you and he says, "I've got a red hat," and then you go and you take that hat off, and you say, "No, you don't." But he's going to walk around with nothing on his head, and he's going to claim to people, "I've got a red hat." You know, it's just because he's used to having a red hat on his head, right? It's like when you can't find your glasses because they're on. You know?
yeah. Or you just can't find them because you don't have them.
Yeah.
Or you forget where you put something, and then you forget what it was that you had in the first place anyway.
You're laughing at this, but when you're 75, the same thing's gonna happen to you, I bet.
Yes, but that doesn't make it not funny.
Yeah, I
It
know.
doesn't make it not funny.
That was such a funny situation. Yeah. Oh, but I feel bad because I feel like I should be
How
be
did it
laughing.
happen? Like
but
she came to you first?
yeah,
right?
yeah, your mom came to me. Yeah.
What did she say
That-
originally?
I
Can you
don't.
remember? It was like because she was looking for something, and you were like, "Oh, what are you looking for? Can I help you?" Right?
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "Well, I'm looking for the present." And she's like, "I'm not sure where I left it." And you were like, "Well, is it big? Is it small? What size is it? You know, what was the present?" And she's like, "Well, I can't remember what it was." So you're like, "Okay, so we're looking for something that we don't know where it is, and we don't know what it is." so the chances, is it this? Is it that? You know,
Yeah.
the chances of us finding it
Or slim.
are slim when we
Yeah.
don't know what it is.
But
that
you
we're
know what's
looking
going to
for.
be really nice?
What?
It's going to be really nice when she finds it at some point, and she's going to remember. Oh, look, this is what I was looking for 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
but didn't it get even more bizarre? Because like she was like, I bought this, and then didn't Jedko say, "But you've already bought her a present?"
Hmm. Yeah.
And there was that was another level on top of all those other levels.
Yeah, I guess it just gets like that. Look, I'm pretty fucking confused as I am, right? And I'm
Well, I don't-
33, and when I'm 75, I'm gonna be completely gone, mate. You're gonna be wheeling me around and,
Look, I
and,
mean,
and
you have to.
telling me children's stories, right?
Okay, so to file this under respect the madness or respect the insanity, right?
Mhm.
Because first of all, writing 60 plus Christmas cards to people is an epic feat. Okay. Second of all, and you can also describe it as epically useless. But second of all, right?
Mhm.
Remembering the 60 people that you actually have to send the cards to is a pretty epic feat, right? Again, once again, it's epically insane.
Unless you're
because
epically organized and you've got them written down, which then is epic organization. I wouldn't do that. No,
well,
look,
nobody would do
seriously,
that. I mean,
seriously, I seriously
Seriously. No, but seriously.
kind of it as much as I think it's a bit mad. I kind of respect that level of thought and organization that goes into it, because I can be fucking bothered, right? I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna call them, right? And it is a nice thing to get them in post, right? It is kind of a nice thing that to get a Christmas card, right?
Oh, look, I'm all for
People
sending
like-
Christmas cards to your best friends. but you
People
don't have
like
60
getting
best friends.
Christmas cards.
That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that's true. I wouldn't do that. I do want to buy Christmas cards on Tuesday to
I
give to
haven't
my
seen her
friends.
since. I haven't seen her since we lived. I don't know, somewhere like 50 years ago.
Yeah, I'm
It's like,
going
well,
to.
she could be dead, you know.
That's true. I'm going to send Christmas cards to my family and to my best friends, and I'm going to write Christmas cards for your mom's friends because just to make her happy. And
Well,
that'll be it. That'll be my
Well-
Christmas present for her.
well, I think what might be a nice idea, and you've probably thought of this already, is to get the kids to do it, right?
But it's such a
A hassle.
yeah.
Yeah, but you know, it is and it isn't, because what it does require is just like 5 minutes of
No,
focus
it's not
time.
5 minutes of focus time. It's about 3 hours of focus time, Jay. At
What,
least.
to get them to write their names in the cards?
Oh, just their names. Oh, I thought you were talking about writing the cards.
Oh,
or,
no.
Or
no,
alternatively making them.
Look, all those things are nice, right? Don't get me wrong. All those things are nice, but let's talk about what's practical. You know, it would be nice to go through the whole process of getting the materials and planning the materials and finding out how much they cost, and then realizing what you need, and then planning and organizing it, and then making the cards, and then writing the cards, and then putting
doing
them in an
the
envelope and signing it. Yeah, I mean,
the ideal homeschooling mother thing, which I don't do.
yeah, because
Writing your bloody Christmas card in August, right?
yeah, that I don't know. Once again, respect the madness.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So it's completely insane, but you respect the fact. It's like so much of life. It's like I'm gonna ride my bike up a giant ramp and land on top of the Arc de Triomphe. And then after I land on the top, I'm gonna jump my bike off the top of the Arc de Triomphe. And I'm not. Somebody did that, right? And it's just like, okay, could you think of anything more completely insane
It's
to do?
oh god, it's the Pinterest mothers, the dangers.
I'm going to make my truck do a double backflip. Like, what the fuck?
The Pinterest mothers is the plague of the universe.
Are they real? I don't think they're real.
I came with this. I came
They're not
with
real.
this.
The Hallmark mothers, they're not real.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just a TV show.
I came with this realization just recently.
All those soft pink and blue colors.
That the Pinterest mothers are the plague of the universe, because they just show off how organized and put together.
This is our child's homeschool room.
They
Notice how
are.
it's all white and all right.
Yeah, exactly. Notice how everything is in place. Notice how there's no children in there.
Or notice how our children are wearing the perfect T-shirt
Yes.
and the perfect clothes and the perfect shoes.
Sitting on the
and-
white floor,
Yeah.
playing with those colourful toys.
Yeah, they're not like in
they're-
their mixed.
Notice how our 5-year-olds are calculating algebra in this Montessori themed schoolroom, right? Without a speck of dust. Oh God, yeah. Notice how organized I am. This is my finance planner. This is my school planner. This is my planner of my free time activities.
Yeah.
This is my romantic dates planner. This is my sex planner. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's good to be organized. I don't believe for a second. I mean, how do you get the time to even fill up all those planners, right?
Well, look, number one. Okay, and here's the big secret, which is not a big secret.
You have
right?
to be organized.
No. No. It's my motivational coaching sort of voice. It's like the big secret is they don't work. Okay, and don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that parenting is not work.
Okay, you mean career work?
Career or career?
Career.
Career. Okay. Yeah, look, a lot of them, their husbands are out working.
Yeah.
They've decided to be a stay-at-home mom. Great for them. Great for the family. And so they don't have to take care of other business, so they can put their time and their energy into their kids. It's all great. Okay.
Into their Pinterest.
Yeah, or into their
Or their Pinterest is their business. So they're basically
business is
because they're usually
business.
selling some planners or something, right? So it's that's probably it. They put all their time into creating those products
Okay, so
and then
here's-
tidying up that room for that 5 minutes so that they can take a nice picture of it.
Okay, welcome to Great Contradictions. One of the most annoying websites on the internet that if it ever gets on my tits, and I almost hate it. I respect it too much to hate it, but is Teachers Pay Teachers, right? So teachers can make a little bit of extra money on the side by putting the resources that they create online for other people to download, right? Number one, um, you're undervalued and underpaid in your job. So having a second job, trying to create a second income, is understandable. It just shows how bad the first position is to be in. Okay, point number two. Point number two is that you, who's not making enough money in your job to sustain yourself, is asking other people doing the same job to give you their money.
Even though they don't have enough.
Even though they don't have money to download your stuff. It's like, haven't you worked it out yet that you're just making each other poorer by doing this? And actually, you'd all be richer if you just put everything up for free and you let everybody download whatever they wanted for free and put a little contribute button there. They'd all be richer if they did that.
Possibly.
No, they would. They would. I mean, inevitably they would, because how do all the other social platforms work? They work through the provision of free content, and people give what they can, right? And so teachers pay teachers is saying, we've got these resources, but unless you pay us, you can't have them. Well, what's the whole principle of teaching, right? It's like, well, we put time and energy into this. Yeah, well, that's the reason why you shouldn't lock it away behind a paywall. The very reason why you shouldn't lock it away behind the paywall is because it has value for everybody. And if you believe it has value for everybody, then let people have it for free. And they will give you what they can give you. And it'll spread, and it'll grow. And it'll domino, and it'll be huge. And you could even, on top of that, you would just be like teachers help teachers, and you could add in a little social forum on there, and get people communicating with each other, and then there'd be all this conversation, all this dialogue. And the ROI on that would be so much better than the average person like me going onto Pinterest, looking at something, going, that looks kind of interesting. And you can download this. Oh, I'll have a look at that. Click on it. Takes me to Teachers Pay Teachers, and right? And you know what the next? It's just all negative after that, right?
And you just go, oh.
Yeah. It's just like,
I just have to find something else now.
Yeah. It just makes me not want to go back to the site. It makes me not want to use the resources. It makes me not want to communicate with people. It's just negative. So. It would be far better. And some people have got it on there. Some people are like, oh, I'll just give away all my stuff for free on Teachers Pay Teachers. But people don't go to Teachers Pay Teachers to get stuff for free, because it's called Teachers Pay Teachers. So everyone's expecting to pay for it.
Hey, listen, we should go and get the kids up. It's about time. It's 8 o'clock. To be out around 9, don't we?
That was my business rant. Yeah. We do. That gives an hour for you to run around and do all your magical things with the kids, and for me to faff around and be useless. Which is how it usually works out. No?
Okay, I have to change that system. It's not working for me.
I can understand that.
Because I'm losing massive amounts of time in the morning when I'm faffing around the children while you're working. And then I'm losing massive amounts of time in the evening while I'm faffing around the children while you work, and we have to balance that. Yeah,
there's a counter argument to that. It doesn't balance it out totally, but we need someone to be the driver and to take people places and to move people around and stuff. And
what does that mean?
So, I mean that means that there's this job that I'm doing there in that area.
Yes, I know you are.
That no one else can do.
Yes, I know, but also, I'm not talking about jobs that people can and cannot do.
And I agree that I should need to support more.
I'm talking about the time frame, because I'm always there as well while you're taking people places. I'm talking about the time, because I've got work and I'm not managing time-wise, because if I have to be around in the mornings and in the evenings and during the day, I'm not managing work-wise. If you know what I mean?
Okay, I get it. Like last night, you were explaining last night.
Yes, yes, because
that
like in the morning when I'm
yeah,
working
but
and the kids get up, I have to stop working and I have to start faffing around the children, right?
mhm.
Uh, and then in the evening when I'm working, I have to do the same thing, right? Whereas you get fairly undisturbed. I'm not saying undisturbed. That would be an overstatement, right? But it's not your
Well,
responsibility to do that while you're working, right? While you're working, it's my responsibility to do that. But I'm working as well. You know what I mean?
yes, no, yes. I don't mean yes, no. What I mean is yes, I agree with you.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Yes, that's perfectly logical
And I understand
sensible to
that
approach
your
it like that.
work is important, but so is mine, and that we have to balance it.
I do set up other activities.
You do set
No,
up
yesterday
activities,
evening,
yes.
I set up the audio story
Uh huh.
with the
Yes,
kids,
that's true. I had
and
time back then. Yes.
and we did that. I played with the kids in the bedroom. And
Yes, I know.
We
I know.
did that.
It would just be nice if we could figure out something like regular, routine, likewise regular type thing.
Yeah, yes, it does need to be reviewed, and I
Uh-huh.
don't know exactly what the answer
Because
is.
I'm not
It
saying
does
that
need to
you're
be
not
reviewed.
doing anything. Okay, I'm not saying that in any way because you're doing a lot. I mean, you're obviously doing much more than you did when you used to be out from 7 to 9:30.
Well, that's the whole point of changing it. I mean, I was going through that in my head yesterday. The whole
Yeah.
point of changing everything was like, I used to be out of the house for like 12 hours a day,
Yeah.
and I hated that.
Uh-huh.
And I was giving this like speech to one of my clients the other
Mhm.
day about I'd rather have much less money, much less resources, and much more time with my kids
Mhm.
than have much more money, much more resources, and very little time with my kids.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. The point is that the yes, I'm not saying that you're not doing anything. Okay, I know that you're doing a lot with the kids.
Look at that. Can you see that? You can't see that.
No, what I'm saying is that pinky sky.
Pink sky silhouetted through
Yeah. Well, I'm saying that
dark
it would
trees.
benefit me. I don't know about you, but it would benefit me if it was in some way organized and regular, so that I can rely on it, so that I don't have to ask for it. You know what I mean?
Yes, I go back to my business coaching thing. There's always room for improvement, and here there's room for a lot of improvement. So
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with that.
Good. We have to
Yeah.
work something out.
We have to do that. And is it actually the first today?
I could just go to sleep. Yeah, it's the 1st of December.
My gosh, I'm going to start playing Christmas music now. Why does it not feel like that period of time? I know why it doesn't feel like that because it's not like -10 to -15.
There's not 2
Like,
meters of snow
And there's
out
not 2
there.
meters of snow everywhere,
Yeah.
which I'm kind of a bit sad about, strangely enough. Here's finish with a quick story. So I was talking to one of my clients yesterday, and we're talking about the fact like it's -10 to -15 where they are, and I was saying like the old car I had if it was like lower than -8, right?
It would freeze.
It just would. The car would just be like, oh fuck it.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't start.
It would just go to
I can't remember actually if
hibernation.
it was -8 or -12. I think it was -8.
No, it was not -12. It was.
Okay, -8.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like if it was lower than -8, the car just wouldn't start.
Mm.
And so my client said, "Oh, we solved that problem with our car." I was like, "Oh," and then I was thinking, "Oh, they changed the battery or something." No, that we installed a remote heater.
Oh.
I'm like, "What?"
Mhm.
And they said, "Well, from our flat, we have a remote control for our car,
Uh-huh.
and we just press a button."
Uh-huh. Like
And
half an hour before they go or something.
no, they press a button the evening before, and it keeps the
Oh.
car warm through the evening to the next morning,
Oh.
so that it doesn't, so the car's not cold
Oh.
when
That's interesting.
in the morning.
Mhm.
And I did I've never heard of this before, right? And that's like, you kind of think that you would have
I
heard of some,
have
right?
actually.
A remote, so like they're in their flat,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, what do you do? You have to lean out the window and point it at the car? So no, it's just a button in our flat. We just press the button in the evening, and it heats up the car, and the car stays warm until the morning, so you don't have to worry about it freezing or not starting.
That's so cool.
And I was like, wow. And I was
What does it power? What powers it? How's it powered?
Don't know. Don't know any of
It has to be powered somehow.
I don't know. Maybe they've got like little, well, I don't know, rats in cages.
I thought you were gonna
wheels.
say.
I
I
don't know.
thought at the beginning you were gonna say blowtorch. It's like, how'd you solve the problem? Oh, blowtorch.
Flamethrower.
Yeah.
No. And I was like, oh wow, that's so cool. And I was like, well, is it like a little? I'm like, is it like a little radiator in the car? You know, like, or how much does it cost? And she said, well, we paid €1,500 for hers, and I was like, I sold my car for, like I sold my first car for like 800 or 600 euro or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and that's like twice as expensive as the old car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sold the last one for 5,000, but anyway, anyway, I thought I'd finish with that story about. I mean, we think we've got these problems, right? And we have got these problems, but I mean, they don't have that problem because they're like, oh, we'll do this, and they were like, we thought about it, and we were like, we thought it's a pretty good investment to have that, which will last years, and to never have that problem in winter to worry about the car starting.
Definitely a good investment, yeah.
And it also, you know, it kind of protects the car as well because shit doesn't freeze, right? So, yeah, how cool is that? And I was like wondering how many people don't even know that exists, right? Even like there'll be like rich businessmen who have these problems with their frozen cars and stuff, and they don't even know that they can get remote heaters, probably. Anyway, there you go.
Cool, that's cool. Yeah, the cars did kind of hibernate in the winter, didn't they?
Yeah, and the client was like, oh, you know, well, how did you get to work? And I was like, bus, taxi, whatever. Yeah.
Not ideal, as your dad would say. Not ideal.
It's funny, very funny.
It's a funny understatement of your dad.
Not ideal.
Yeah. He does say that about things that are shit.
My dad's got classic interpretations where other people would be like, I'm dying on this. My dad's like,
It's not ideal.
Yeah. Right. Say bye to the planet.
Ciao.
And it's not that
Ciao,
you're leaving
planet.
the planet, but you're just leaving the cast.
I kind of did have to say bye to Venus there.
Yes.
Because it's gone. But we've got nice pink sunrise, so let's enjoy that.
Someone's calling.
At 8 o'clock on Saturday. Someone's
Who the hell? Someone expects my parents to be out of
Could be
bed.
somebody from Canada or USA.
Someone you don't expect a good call to get you out of bed very early on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, I didn't expect any good calls at all, like ever.
Oh, why do you think I just don't? There's a whole nother story that I have to tell you, which I can't tell you on the podcast, about communication with local press about publications.
Okay.
We're just like, you appreciate this, just as a final note. It was, they were like, you have to send us all these details. So I sent them all the details, and they were like, we need your business address. I'm like, my business is digital; it doesn't have an address. It exists online. And they were like, oh, we need your address to send you the invoice. And I was like, right back, said, can't you just email it? And I actually wrote it in a different way. I actually wrote it like, if you are creating your invoice on a computer, which I imagine you are, can't you just send it to me? After you create it? Why do you have to make so much work for so many people and make it all more expensive?
People are crazy. I told you I've got this client, right? And she's my friend. That's why I still keep working with her, because she's actually my friend. But she's completely clueless when it comes to like new technologies and even simplifying her business. And she always insists on me sending the invoice.
Oh, it's
through
retarded.
post.
You just fucking slap him in the face and just say you just have to give them an ultimatum, which is because people. This is my business perspective. I'm not talking to you as a friend. Like, this is what I would say to a business client: is you have to give them an ultimatum. And first of all, you have to respect and appreciate the fact that they have their way and they're comfortable with that and they're happy with that and that works for them. But at the end of the day, for your own sanity, you have to give them an ultimatum and say, it's black or white. If we're going to work together, then you need to either be able to send me this through an email so that I can communicate with you back, because at the end of the day, you are taking more time, more resources, more work, and more money from the situation.
Yeah, sometimes you're willing
it doesn't balance it.
Sometimes you're willing to do that for a friend because they're a friend, but and I don't send invoices to her often.
Look, are they gonna
right?
be there at your funeral?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody fucking hope so.
Look, because it's kind of different then. But because look, my argument is like if they're not going to be at your funeral, it's not fucking worth it, right?
That's your perspective.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You.
My perspective is I do it once. I do it maybe twice a year, right? So I'm not going to make a fuss about it. I do tell her every time that I communicate with her about invoices that I can send it to her through email and it's going to be valid just as it would be if it was sent by post. But she always says, but my accountant tells me that it should be in paper. And I'm like, okay, well, she's clueless and she's got an accountant. The accountant is obviously a dinosaur, so I'm not going to argue, you know.
I actually wrote in the email, I'm assuming that you're not carving your email, you're not carving the invoice out of stone.
Yeah.
Therefore, it doesn't actually need to travel through the post.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway, we'll see what kind of response I get. But I sort of wrote it in a joking way, saying, "Look, I'm not totally serious about what I'm writing, but please think about it." And try to qualify.
But you do realize that your business does have to have an official address, right? So your business does have an address.
Yeah. No, look.
Right.
I get it. All businesses must have an official address.
Yes.
My business has an official address. The official address at this moment is in Slovakia. It needs to change to here. Okay,
yes.
That will happen in time. But they were talking about we need an address to send the invoice to.
Yes.
So they're not talking about where does your business reside. Okay. They're talking about where do we send the invoice to.
Yeah.
So if someone says where does your business reside, then I give them all the Slovak details. But if someone says, we need to send an invoice to somewhere, it's just like, oh, for God's sake, guys, just
you
move.
don't.
Step up.
You just don't.
Step up. You don't. Yeah,
you just don't.
There we go. Okay, say bye to the planet again.
I did.
Okay,
bye
that's
planet.
it. We have to go and do things because we need to get the kids up.
Can we just go back to sleep?
No, we can't because there's things to do, and it's the 1st of December. So
I tell you what, I'm not gonna get my fitness
started.
in. I'm not gonna get my fitness.
We need to get an advent calendar. It's Advent already. We don't have one.
Get one.
That's ridiculous. We can maybe pick one up today. We'll be out and about anyway. I'll be out and about. Oh my God! Scrooge, Stone the Crows. The road to Lossie. It's a dramatic end to the ridiculous podcast. The road to Lossie is Scrooge. It's under repair.
Oh.
Seriously.
So, how are you getting to Lossie?
The only other road is Elgin. You have to go to Elgin to get to Lossie.
No.
Yes, I know trust me, I know the roads.
Really?
I know all the fucking roads.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because you know how they're doing all the roads and roadworks, and you've heard us talk about it for the last week. All the roads are being done here. They're doing them like one by one by one by one. The road to Lossie I went past it, not yesterday, 2 days ago. Yeah, I drove past it and it had, this road has repairs on it from this date to this date, and you can't go down the road. So you have to go to Elgin to get to Lossie, which is another 20 minutes.
What?
Yeah. Seriously, the only road from here to Lossie is under repair and blocked.
You have to be kidding.
Because I remember 2 days ago I drove past it
Are
and
you
it had
sure?
that.
I did. Why don't you ask on the bloody thing? There's people from Garmouth there. Why don't you write a little message on the
On the WhatsApp
on
thing.
the WhatsApp?
Okay, I'll
thing?
finish the podcast and write the message because.
Do that. Do
Goodbye,
that.
goodbye,
because it's
planet.
just
Goodbye,
such-
planet. We got to solve this problem.
Yeah. Bye.